Republican Study Committee Chair, North Carolina Republican Congressman Mark Walker on this as the Republican leadership is getting ready to address the troops. Congressman, were you a yay vote on this?
100%. Yes, it was, Neil. Thank you.
Did you have any worries that some of these businessmen raise?
No, we don't. We believe that a lot of that is, I won't say unfounded, but different reports will, I guess, categorize it in different ways. This is genuinely a major tax cut, not just for the individual, but something that's pro-growth. I know North Carolina, we've run the numbers on 3 different occasions, $2,300 tax relief for the average family, and we believe it will produce another 30,000 new jobs over the next few years.
Now, you have a comparatively low tax state. Some of your high-tax state counterparts in New York and California and Illinois and Massachusetts, New Jersey, they're not happy, and they think they're going to get the short end of the stick. Is there anything being done or considered to be done for them?
Well, I think the House tried to do something where they would have less short end of the stick. The Senate, what they're, I guess, produced had no consideration for the SALT group, if you will.
Right.
I think that's why, and if my totals are correct, we had 13 members that did vote against it, 227 of our 240 here today that gave it an aye vote for a piece of legislation this big. That's a huge win for us.
How much pressure do you feel your colleagues were under to vote yay?
It never got to that point. There have been votes where we were, they were counting the votes in the hallways. There was a calm this week because I believe after running the numbers, when you have the evidence of the data and the House Ways and Means literally ran the numbers on every single district in the country, all 435, when you have that kind of data, it makes it easier to get to a yes.
Now, you had an approval on the health care rework with you guys in the House, and then they stumbled in the Senate, and, of course, that John McCain famous no vote. Are you worried that could happen again?
Well, that's probably one of the reasons you're not seeing a lot of keg parties today.
Yeah.
We are knowing that this is part of our job. You are correct. The House has delivered on both major promises, repeal the ACA, Obamacare, but also put together a genuine tax reform package. We like the fact the Senate has rolled out what they have so far, specifically the part about repealing the individual mandate, which is the central nervous system to Obamacare. If we could get that done in conference over the next couple of weeks, I know a lot of House members would be exuberant.
Now, to your point, and you mentioned this early, Congressman, in confirming what you suspected, the no votes, the 13 no votes, virtually were all Republicans from these, I'm talking the Republican no votes, from these high-tax states. That's maybe something the Speaker is going to address. But is that something you think that the Senate should be aware of, that those in high-tax states got to be given a break, maybe like the House break?
Well, break is probably a strong word. We want to make sure that those guys, the good Republicans, are not left behind. But we also want to send another message here, Neil, is it's not members of Congress's responsibility to bail out some of these state and local legislatures that run the tax burden up on their private citizens in a way that's this.
Well, you have a good point about that, but nevertheless, that falls on deaf ears with those private citizens, right? Because they're, in the meantime, in this back and forth debate of who pays much to Washington, they're getting hit, right?
I know the Speaker, and as well as Chairman Brady, have said we're not going to walk those guys off the plank. We are going to continue to try to work out something for these wonderful people. And of those 13, let me make it clear, not all were from the SALT states. We always have maybe 2 or 3 that sometimes would push the no button rather than the yes button.
Do you think now, you were part of that meeting with the president when he was up on the Hill, did he say anything that if you didn't vote for this, there was going to be hell to pay?
No threats, even jokingly or soberly. He's just transparent. He just kind of talks off the cuff there. But of the 40 minutes there, I think of the whole time our conference this morning, I don't believe there was anything interjected that would have come across as any kind of threat.
Congressman, do you think there's any wiggle room right now for an across-the-board cut, even for the upper income? The Senate plan does have a slight 1% cut in the upper income. The House plan does not. How do you feel about that?
I think there is movement on this. A lot of it depends. You've got the group of 6 we've talked about. The president at first signaled that maybe he was okay with a higher-end tax bracket. Lately, we've seen he would like for even a percentage or 2. This thing is not done yet. There's still some things that we've got to work out and iron out with the Senate. And I believe it's possible. We've just got to see where those numbers, as you know, not getting into the weeds, we're riding to that $1.5 trillion number. If we can get it to work there, I'm sure everything's still on the table.
Would you be okay with that measure, the individual mandate, the requirement that everyone, purchase health insurance, that the Senate has that in its plan right now? Do you think that's a good thing to keep?
we are more than okay with it. We may make that a line in the sand when it comes back to conference. That is so important to us to have an opportunity to think about this, to remove the single piece of federal legislation that literally forces citizens to purchase something from a private industry. Nothing in that in the history of Congress has ever been offered. We hope nothing before, but that is our moment to repeal that horrible mandate on the backs of the American people.
All right. Congressman, I want to thank you very, very much.